Good morning, everybody. Better late than never, huh? I know this was scheduled to go off at 10 o'clock this morning, but sometimes you get thrown curveballs and things don't go out exactly your way. Um, so, my name's Ian White. I am a life fulfillment coach. And the plan was for me and my friend and colleague Karen Bonner to come on here and to start doing weekly lives, specifically around coaching, having coaching conversations, um, to come together, share how we're using coaching in our day-to-day lives, and then share it with you, so that you have an opportunity to learn and grow along with us. Because as Karen often says, she's in grade 3 of her coaching life or whatever. So because we're always learning, growing, and developing. um, Now she had something come up today and is unable to start, even though this is supposed to be our first live that we're going to do. And the goal is that we come on once a week at this time and at 10 o'clock on Thursday mornings, to come together and for us to have our conversation that we have often, but to have it in a open format where anybody can listen in, they can add their comments, ask questions, whatever. Um, and I brought this idea to Karen probably about a month ago, 2 months ago, maybe. And it just took me a little bit of time in order to get some of the pieces together to do it. Um, but the reason I brought it to Karen was I value so much the time that we spend together and how much I feel like I center myself when we get together, when we have conversations, that I didn't want to hog that for myself anymore. I wanted other people to have the possibility or the opportunity to come and share that space with us, because it is so valuable for me, us, to slow down. And I know Karen gets a ton out of it also, but I just don't want to speak for her. I'll wait for her to show up, maybe hopefully next week, and she can share her side of this. But I feel like when I come to our conversations, I'm full of a bunch of stuff and I can't really concentrate on what we're supposed to be doing that day, because we do lots of coaching work and coaching workshops and do all kinds of things together. um, I can't contribute properly until I've emptied my cup. So one of the first things that we'll do when we get together is just we'll do that. We'll do our check-in, um, because if we haven't gotten out of our head the stuff that's kind of in our way, we can't focus on the thing that we want to do. So I know the topic for today was supposed to be slowing down to speed up. Um, and actually, it still can be. Maybe we'll do a part 2 with Karen next week. But that's part of that slowing down process, is getting out of your head, getting that stuff out, taking that time up front to be together, to be human, to let out what's in the way so that we can connect. So we have time and the ability to be able to sit down with one another and to do the work. But until that space is cleared, it's still kind of like in the way. Um, so that's one of the things that I appreciate so much about our relationship together, is the fact that I get that space, I get that time. And oftentimes that'll bleed into like either a mini coaching conversation where she'll ask me some questions to help me kind of just get that stuff sorted so that I can be present to do the next thing. I'll give the same space and time for her to do the same thing for her, and then we'll settle in. And oftentimes, and I'd say like 90% of the time, something that's come up within that check-in became of value for the work that we were planning to do, or understanding how we want to implement that thing we want to do. So a lot of times people think that that check-in, that time, it's wasted time. We're not working on anything. I would venture to guess that that check-in is more important than anything else you're going to do that day. It's going to allow people the space, the time, and the ability to be able to focus on that thing because they've got that stuff out of the way. So there is a ton of value in slowing down to speed up. That said, so that's why I wanted to start this. A couple other things is we want to start sharing the material that we have with a broader audience. And it's great to be able to do that without feel like you're always pitching and marketing a product or a workshop or whatever. So we thought, let's get out there regularly. Let's share some of that information so that people can get an understanding that you don't need to be a professional coach, someone who's charging money for coaching people in order to be able to use coaching in your day-to-day language to help you have better conversations, to help you navigate situations, to help you move forward in your life. Coaching tools and practices are there to serve you and support you. And you'll be surprised how often they come up in conversation. One of the tools that we use almost exclusively, or it comes up all the time, is the conversation model, relationships, possibility, and action, because it is applicable in all situations. It is always in the background of my consciousness when I'm having conversations with people, because I realize that we are constantly bopping between those three conversations. And if you know where you are and you know where you're stuck, you then know where you need to go in order to get out of that loop. If you're stuck in action, and not getting the traction that you want to get, you move back into possibilities and relationship in order to be able to uncover what's missing so that you can move back through and get into some sort of action that is helpful or moving forward. That kind of thing. So we have a lot of tools, we've got a lot of experience, and what I think will be really beneficial for people who show up and want to pay attention to us here is we're going to use real life. So when we check in live with one another, it's going to be about real stuff and real people and real shit and real whatever's going on, because there's always something going on. And what's mind-boggling, at least to my conscious version of myself, is that we always have a topic or something that's going on that seems to be in parallel with one another at any given time. Something I'm struggling with, she's struggling with, maybe with a different topic or a different set of circumstances, but they kind of boil down to the same challenge. So if we're dealing with these challenges, it's pretty high likelihood that those who are tuning in are dealing with something similar, because that's just how things work. This is how the universe works. Things are attracted to you based on what you're putting out there and what you're experiencing, where you're focusing your energy. So if you're focused there, other people who have similar challenges focusing on them will be mirrored in their lives. So by doing this, and then oftentimes that'll lead to a coaching conversation or a coaching practice or what we're doing, or maybe how we need to be looking at it differently because we're so caught in the weeds. Hearing somebody else come back to you with a really pertinent question or a way of seeing it from a different angle that gives you different perspective. And that perspective can be part of that slowing down process so that you can eventually speed back up again. Again, slowing down to speed up by getting it out. So we'll be doing that. We'll share some tools. And and we'll share what's coming up next for us, if we've got workshops coming, things like that. And ideally, because we're doing this regularly, more people are going to tune in, more people are going to have questions. We'll have maybe some time to interact a little bit more with people as I get familiar with this software and what I need to do and how it works. We can promote it a little bit more. We can share, either some video clips or some of our tools on screen. So as we're going through stuff, we can talk about it. I imagine we'll probably do maybe some live coaching. Who knows? But I'm open to where this goes. I'm glad Karen is on the ride with me as well with this. And we'll see where this leads us. I'm not feeling 100%. You can probably tell that in my voice. I've been sick for the better part of a week, but I think I'm coming out the other side, so that's great. But for now, I think I'll just leave it there. I think it'll be a lot more interesting when Karen joins me. We have that conversation together next week. So I think what I'll say for now is that this will be part 1 of Slowing Down to Speed Up. And part 2 will happen next week. So looking forward to what that conversation brings. And until then, take care, everybody. And hopefully we'll see you next week.